On Saturday the 29th of February 2020, Aveley travelled to Notts County. This is the quarter-final and the final part of Road to Meadow Lane.
For Notts, where was you when a draw took place?
I was at work. I was in my office. And yeah, all the way through, obviously, it was good. We got Chelmsford, local draw. We got Hornchurch, local draw. Bowers, local draw. Obviously, good team. But it gets to a point where you're thinking quarterfinals, come on, give us a big one. And so, yeah, I was at work. And I think my friend's feed was a little bit ahead of mine. So I was listening to mine. And we had it all up on the big screen. Like we had TalkSport 2 on. Yeah, one of my mates was listening to a stream that's slightly further ahead. So he texted me saying, like, Notts County. And I looked and I was like, it hasn't been drawn yet. So I didn't say anything to the boys in the office. But yeah, it was about sort of 20 seconds ahead and I've seen it, Notts County come out and they were all sort of banging on each other going, ooh. And then, yeah, Aveley come out. So, yeah, big celebrations in the change room. I think the lads sort of booked all their train tickets and booked tickets pretty much as soon as they could. So I had a load of people from work end up coming up and stuff. So no, it was good.
I was at work. It's not too exciting, unfortunately, but yeah, I was at work. I think I was eating my lunch, and yeah, I was listening to the draw. Yeah, so I heard it, and yeah, it was obviously over the moon. When we heard it, we knew it was going to be tough, but yeah, excited for a big away day.
I was at home, I believe. Yeah, I wasn't working that day. I had an off day, and I was listening to it. I think I had my daughter in my arms. I was listening to it on TalkSport.
Yeah.
And obviously Notts come. I think we was all in our group chat. The team group chat was all. Yeah. Like we all wanted. We wanted Notts probably 2 rounds before. So when we actually got them, yeah, we just went mental.
I was sitting at work having lunch. I think they were at 1 o'clock, weren't they? So yeah, I was sitting at work having some lunch, and obviously, sort of someone put it in the group, and it was obviously quite a big thing at the time. So
yeah,
I was working. I know Craig went viral with it. He was live on Twitter or whatever, and I wanted a home draw. I did. I really wanted a home draw again. It was great that was Notts County because obviously they're an historic football club, one of the oldest in the country, one of the most well supported. Financially, it was a good draw for the football club. It's a fantastic stadium, but I wanted a home draw. I wanted a home draw again. Took the Notts County game because it was the best game we could have got.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want Harrogate Town, and we didn't want Concord. I'd have loved Notts County at home. I would have loved Notts County at home. We got them away, and it was then for me, in hindsight, it turned into a whole big away day, and it took away from the actual game itself for me. Which is another thing. But for me, it was a great draw for the football club. A real, the best way to describe it, a game that was, the last 8 for the club is historic, but the Notts County is historic as well for the football club. It doesn't happen that often. So yeah, it was a great draw for the football club. For me, I wanted them at home. I really did.
With Notts County, I remember it got to lunchtime, and I'm sitting in the cabin at the time with all my like workmates.
Yeah.
I purposely put it on loudspeaker, and from there, all I remember was Aveley FC will be travelling to Notts County, and I'll be honest, I couldn't have jumped anymore. And also, I had to ask my boss for two days in advance off. So,
Evan, where was you?
I was in a lecture at uni.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just sat at the back, slipped my headphone in, listened to it there. So
happy with it?
yeah, wasn't quite able to jump up like like some of the others, but yeah, happy nonetheless.
Me and Jack used to do the same thing every draw. We'd have TalkSport on, either at work or in the car on the way to a job and blah, blah, blah. And every round, we'd in the group chat, it'd be going off, let's get a Notts County or let's get a Torquay or blah, blah, blah. And when we got to the last 8, you just felt like we weren't going to get a team at our level anymore. We deserved something. And we'd previously said on the Thursday at training, that's what everyone wanted. Notts County away, to plan a nice stadium, to have a weekend away, celebrating our success in the trophy, and luckily we got it. I just remember the group chat that day on my WhatsApp. I must have had about 500 unread messages where everyone was just really excited.
I was at work, so sitting out sort of where I work. There's a guy that does the Bowes and Pitsy media as well, so we were both sort of watching it. And yeah, just sort of buzzing when it was Notts away.
John?
Yeah, same. I was at work. I know exactly where I was. I was working on the Isle of Sheppey. And lunch break. And the TalkSport 2 on. And it was just surreal. You just couldn't make that up, really. It's obviously everybody wanted. That's the draw that everybody wanted. And then we got it. Fantastic. Yeah.
I work in an environment where we obviously have to take turns when it comes to our lunch breaks and so on. And it'd been set, and I'd asked about 4 or 5 days before, even before we played Chelmsford, that I needed to go a particular time on the Monday because I needed to listen to the draw. It was going to be live, and I wanted to see who we got.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. When you obviously work with public, things happen. You have to do certain things with customers. And I ended up going to lunch 40 minutes after the draw was made.
Okay.
At which point I'd already been told who we had. And it was fantastic that we got them, but it was a bit of an anticlimax that I didn't have that feeling of, oh my God, like we've got them.
Yeah.
As opposed to it just being, oh, by the way, you've got. And it wasn't ideal.
Jeez, I can't really remember. I think I just might have been at home, but because I think if it was a Monday and I was listening on the radio and I was with my uncle and my aunt. And to be honest, I wanted Notts away. So
yeah,
I was buzzing. I mean, also my family that was with me there, everyone was buzzing. Got text straight on the group. Everyone was just in a great mood. So yeah, it was the best possible I could have chosen, because you never know if you're gonna get through to the next round. So why not have a big tie away? I mean, that's pretty much summed our whole season up, that tie away. Great season, great players, great coach, great chairman,
I was in a relatively quiet and busy office at work, listening to the draw on my headphones.
Yeah.
And then when it was made, ended up with an office of about 80 people turning around looking at me, wondering what I was going mad about. So sat at work, listening to the draw, and it was we'd wanted Notts County for so many rounds, and it just wasn't happening. So when that came through, it was the dream time, wasn't it?
I was at work with Dad for all the draws. We went and sat in his office and had a cup of tea and just waited for it. And yeah, when we pair of us just started, like, there's a few other firms in our building. And when I to him and come down saying, "You all right?" Because we went that mad.
Yeah.
And just they were like, "Are you all right?" Like, yeah, just you're on Notts County. And then a few of them know, they all know our involvement with Aveley, but they were like, "Oh, that's good." But like, they didn't realise how happy we was, because we've been calling out, like, me and Dad have been saying, like, once we got each round, like Charlton, Shorten, we carried on going through. We think, all right, we can go out now. It's all right. Just give us a big team and we'll get knocked out. And then you think, oh, okay, actually, we might be able to beat them. And then we've been crying out for that big draw, just for the players, really, and the players in the club as a whole, just to get a massive draw. And it was like we finally got like what the run deserved, and that kind of, obviously, it was always, you go there thinking you might win, but it was always going to be like the big send off that those players and stuff deserved. And for example, like for my dad and Craig, really, they deserved that, and all the other guys, Alan, Jerry, all of them deserve that kind of massive, kind of like well done to us all for getting that far.
Yeah.
I think I was at work at the time.
Yeah.
And I wasn't looking at the draw in itself. I found out through, I think my dad told me.
Okay.
And obviously I heard it through the WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And everyone was saying, "Oh, we want Notts County," which you never think you're going to get.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it just blew up, and that's how I found out. I was I was on the way home from work, and it's a bit surreal when it hit. And I looked, I had to check. Everyone was saying it. I thought, no, I've got to check. And then that's how I found out. Yeah.
The draw to Notts, I think we've all seen a video.
Yeah.
Where was you? And obviously, when the draw was announced, it registered straight away how big that was. Can you just describe that reaction for us?
Difficult, really, because I'd sat in the office at Parkside the last 2 or 3 draws, and we were last 4 balls left for the previous 2 draws to Notts County as well. And when we drew Chelmsford, there was 4 teams left. It was us, Chelmsford, Yeovil, and Notts County.
Yeah.
So that was being recorded at the time, and I was crossing the names off, so I knew exactly who was left. And whilst Chelmsford at home is a great draw, when you're looking at who do you want out of Yeovil and Notts County and Chelmsford, you'd pick the other 2 with no disrespect to Chelmsford all day long. So that was a bit disappointing. And especially as Chelmsford are a big club, 2 divisions above us. Our ex-manager there, great manager, Rod Stringer, very good team. That was all 3 of those games were, in my opinion, we were going to get beat on paper. Yeah. And so we wanted a big one. So it was disappointing. The Notts County, the Chelmsford one came out in the last 16. And that recording went away. I forget who was recording it at the time, but that was just sort of forgot about. So then we get to the quarter-final, and I remember Joe Toggill was in the office with me, and we were listening to it, and the rest is history, really. When the Notts County ball came out, and I followed it, and then I think Jamie or somebody had got hold of the previous draw and made a little montage of the 2 draws together, and before you could blink, I think it had gone viral. Nottingham Live were on the phone, and
number 8 is Notts County, who
Come on!
2-1 on Saturday in that huge game, despite ending the game with just 9 players. They got the job done regardless.
We'll play number 7.
Yeah, it was massive. And from that minute onwards, I can remember I left the ground probably within an hour. And whilst I was driving along, I had a call from the Notts County chief exec to arrange the game. And it sort of, it just went from there, really.
Yeah.
What impressed me was, in particular with Notts County, was the professionalism of them as a club in general, with their organisation ability, with everything from that very first hour after the draw was made right until after the dust had settled and the game was finished, and the admin side of it afterwards. They were a fantastic help to us as a club, because we, as a administrator, I'd never been put in that position before, with overnight stays and hotels and arranging food, and it just went on, and ticket arrangements, and I think we took 4 coaches, and the players coach obviously went the previous day with the management, etc. So it was huge. It was quite draining, but again, on the flip side, probably it was the right draw for us away, because being at home, I'm not sure what we'd have done from an admin point of view. Would have been tough as well.
You left the day before the game?
Yes, so I booked the day off on the Friday. So like most of us, we all met at Aveley at the home ground. Got on a coach that the chairman organised for us, which was a very nice coach, to be fair. So like sort of our tables, it's quite a nice environment for us to travel up in. Card games, all sorts, like Uno getting played, like music. Quite a good bonding for all of us. Obviously, not that we needed it by that point, but yeah, it's a good bunch of lads to be with as well. We obviously got to a hotel, unpacked our stuff. I was sharing a room with Withers.
Yeah.
So sort of, I'd like to think a more mature room. And then just a few of us the night before. So obviously we're there, and it was sort of, we got there fairly early.
Yeah.
We'd had dinner, and then there was just nothing. So we just sort of managed to find a local snooker hall that we went and played a few frames at before going to bed. But yeah, so that just sort of keep it going, like almost not putting too much pressure on the game. Obviously, everyone knew it was going to be a big game anyway. Like it's the largest crowd most of us have played in front, or we were hoping to play in front. We knew the amount of tickets that had been sold from the Aveley fans going up there as well. So obviously, you don't want more pressure than the people that come to support you either. But yeah, so it was just another game at the end of the day. As much as it is the importance it was, you didn't want to put too much on it, because you didn't want to then. I mean, obviously, the result of it in the end, it's difficult to say that now, but yeah, it was just to try and keep us calm and relaxed before the game as you possibly could.
Yeah, so actually you jumped on the coach. I can't remember where we stopped off on the way, but got sort of something to eat. But obviously the coach was, got to say thank you to the chairman for the coach. He put on sort of a really nice one, I think, a big luxury coach. So yeah, we travelled up there in a bit of style, which was nice. And then obviously got to the hotel. All just sort of popped up to our rooms, chilled out for a little bit. But yeah, come down, had dinner, and a few of us, I think the gaffer and a few of the injured lads and the people who were cup-tied, they popped out and had a few drinks somewhere. Me and a few of the other boys popped out into Nottingham and just had a few frames of snooker. And just to sort of take your mind off it, because you don't want to just be stuck in a hotel room sort of doing nothing for 5-6 hours. So yeah, we just popped out, had a few frames of snooker, come back, and got into bed really. It's nothing sort of crazy. But it was weird. It was an early kickoff as opposed to sort of 3 o'clock one. So I was up a little bit earlier than maybe I might have been. Stuffing my face full of pasta at like sort of 10 o'clock, whatever it was. It was a little bit earlier than usual, but no, it was good. It was good. Like the club did really well with the hotel, putting on the breakfast, putting on the dinners, made sure we were fully prepared for it. And then went back upstairs, got ready, got showered, football bag ready, and popped on the coach to the game.
I think we played about 6 hours of Uno.
I think Gibbo mentioned that as well, Gibbo. Uno, yeah.
Yeah, no, literally did that. Obviously stopped off at the hotel, had a bit of a walk in the late afternoon, evening, just seeing the surrounding area, had dinner together. It was just a really good atmosphere, really. A few players had like initiation songs at the hotel. Graham, the chairman, got involved as well.
So I've heard.
So it was just a really good atmosphere. It was just everyone was sort of relaxed, but sort of quietly confident that obviously as long as we performed on the day, we'd do ourselves justice, and sort of we'd worked hard to get there. So sort of enjoy it.
John?
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was, the coach journey up there was really, really great. Everyone was good spirits. As I say, there was the Uno school at the back of the bus. It was really good, lovely atmosphere. Everyone was looking forward to it. Hotel was absolutely fantastic in Hilton there, and like I say, initiation songs after dinner. I mean, the coaching staff and that, we went out for a beer after all that sort of thing. And then it was just
fantastic. Beforehand, I got picked up by the gaffer, so
Oh, did you?
That was that was he sorted it out on. I think we trained on a Thursday, and he was like, "Oh, he's never done it before ever."
Yeah,
and then he went to me, "Oh, you live in Old Church, didn't you?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I'll pick you up tomorrow," like right off the cuff. So I thought, "I'll have some of that." So I think he's better off picking me up. And on the way, met the boys on the coach. A few lates as usual.
Yeah.
There was, but turned up. The coach was magnificent. I don't know if did you see the coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pucker, and
Top class,
just
wasn't
it was. I felt like a professional. Well, I suppose that's what Graham was going for.
Yeah,
and it was unbelievable, mate. The coach journey was probably one of the best bits about it, like barring the game and obviously the occasion. But the coach journey was just stupendous.
Was you playing Uno on there?
God, yeah, it was really playing Uno. People, I think Sam and Vember was doing his coursework like he always does.
Yeah.
And Uno, just banter flying about everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone was. It was just a great vibe, and I don't think I've ever had that going to a football match.
Yeah.
Because there's going as underdogs, like you just got nothing to lose, so you just enjoy it. And it was surreal, really surreal.
Being one of the members of the fans and obviously close to the club that was going up on the coaches on the Saturday, I was given the task of being leader on one of the coaches. Obviously, we took 4 buses. In the end, I think we had 530 fans in total, whether they were making themselves up. Some people were going up for the weekend and going themselves. Some people were coming on the coaches, making sure that everyone was on them. Thankfully, they were. We left early because everyone was early. No one wanted to miss it. And obviously, it's just a matter of getting on the coach then, obviously, and just enjoying the trip. Getting to the stadium. I think we'd been given a message to say that the boys were close and we were at the stadium. It was apparently like a 15-20 minute drive for them, and they were on their way already. So it was a case of like, let's give them a little bit of a sense of being a professional, I suppose. So they'd been in the hotel the night before, they'd stayed up, they'd got the foods, etc. But I don't think any of them would have been in a situation where they've gone to a stadium in a coach and their fans have been waiting for them to clap them in.
Yeah.
And I know I've spoken to a few of them, like none of them expected that would happen. A few of the board members knew because obviously we were given the heads up that they would be around. But I don't think the boys would be aware of that was going to happen. And I think that was a massive thing for them as well. Obviously, it's a game against Notts County. They're a professional outfit, the highest ranked team left in the competition at the time. We knew we were probably going to lose, but we needed to make sure that we enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it for the boys. Yeah. The kids that came, we enjoyed it for them, and obviously there might be, for example, people that have supported Aveley for 30, 40 years have never thought they'd get to this level. So there was people of all ages that went up there from Essex, whether you're a West Ham fan and West Ham didn't have a game that day and you just came because Aveley were going to County, or whether you're a parent and one of the players, everyone mixed in and got on with it, and it was just a fantastic day.
The weather again was absolutely horrendous on the way up there. And Notts County contacted me en route saying that the game looked as if it was in doubt. The groundsman and his staff have been working on it during the day and were continuing during the evening, and will be back in the ground at 5 in the morning. They were questioning whether a pitch inspection was even necessary on the Friday night. They invited us to Meadow Lane when we arrived, which we went and had a look around at 5 o'clock that night. The pitch had been pro-cord, so there was lots of drainage holes on the pitch, like that. They were prepared for the worst as such. And then we went off back to the hotel after that and had a meal with the players and a quiet evening, and woke up Saturday even, breakfast with the players, had a walk around. The kickoff was at 12 o'clock. It had been brought forward because the Arsenal ladies were playing Chelsea ladies, I believe, in the League Cup final over at the City Ground. So that helped in some respect, that there wasn't a lot of time, to pass between getting up and having breakfast and getting to the ground, etc. And I think one of the things that will live with me for a long while was when the coach pulled up outside Meadow Lane, and there must have been 100 Aveley supporters outside the gate. just welcoming the players, and that was that was something to behold. Yeah, that was great.
Did you know anything about the fans going to be outside, or was you
I did,
unexpected?
Yes. Yeah, I did. I was phoned. I think Ryan Worley, to be fair, was instrumental in arranging that. And the coaches were talking to each other as they were going up, and they said that's what they wanted to do. And he basically pre-warned me, but I didn't tell anybody, so it was a surprise for everybody.
Just going on to when you got into the stadium on the Saturday, can you just tell us what you said to the boys before you went out?
Yeah, well, it was funny that, because I wanted to. Why I was a little bit disappointed in the game being that early. I'm a Nottingham Forest fan.
Yeah,
have been since Brian Clough and the first European Cup win. So I wanted to get over to the ground and do a tour of the Nottingham Forest ground before going to Notts County. I was desperate to go and see the European Cup and do the tour, but there was not on that day. That early in the morning, I was, and I've loved to have gone over, because you literally can just walk over the bridge to Notts County from Forest. So I was hoping to go on my own and go over there first and get over to the ground. Didn't happen. We got to the ground. It was a great build-up for the club. Listen, it was great for the club. There was excitement for the club, which is what it's all about. On the day of the game, we got in there. For the players, it felt like a proper football league game. My view was I didn't want to be overawed by it. I didn't want them to be overawed by it. I do believe on the day I didn't particularly get my tactics right. I have to hold my hands up to that one. But in terms of team selection and tactics, I didn't particularly think I got it right on the day. But how could I have turned around to one or two of them players and take them out who had done the whole games up to that?
Yeah.
To go a little bit more defensive wise, and George Sykes, who was injured at the time, who was desperate to play, was a big key player in the whole way through it. Key player in the whole league, but he injured his big toe, and it would have been very harsh of me to drop him out.
Yeah.
And I've gone a bit more defensive, which I should have done. But I stuck to what I stuck to the players who got me there. I was loyal enough to them at that time, and unfortunately, it backfired on me as a manager. But that's you live and learn by them, and you have to be man enough to hold your hand up. But I couldn't have took that away from that group of players that got me there.
Just talking about before the game kicked off, you came out of the change rooms early. You went straight across to the Aveley fans. What did that mean to them, seeing you come over and show the appreciation?
You know what? I didn't preempt it, and it was nothing that was game changing. That's for sure. But I just felt that for a club like Aveley to have over 500 odd people and X amount of coaches and people making their way up, and to come to the ground, my two boys were at the game, Monica was at the game with her dad, and I just felt that they deserved a little bit of credit themselves for coming along,
Yeah.
Regardless of how the game went for us, I just felt that they and I made sure as well that the players went over them before the game as well. I made sure the players went over and clapped them, because you need them on your side. You need them on your side. It was a big stand to fill for a start. But for me personally, I didn't think about doing it. It just came into my head to do it. What I had done in the build up to that game is I had given somebody the last say in the change room, because my view was always the league's my bread and butter. The trophy, the cup runs are the players.
Yeah.
I give that to the players, So when I got to a point in the cup run, I think at Hornchurch, I think I give Connor the last save before they went out. And then against Chelmsford, I give the last say to George Christou. And then against Notts County, I came out, because that's what I did in them games. I came out of the changing room, and I think Jack took the last team talk for the one out against Notts County, so I blame him for the 5-0 result. But literally during them runs, I sort of went out of the change room, spoke to somebody or whatever, but I just thought I'd time on my hands. I came out of the change room to leave the players with the coaching staff.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll take a little walk across the pitch and clap the fans for coming along on the day. Because they had to get up early as well. They had to get before. So yeah, it was not for me to say it was all about me. It was most definitely the fact that I really wanted to like emphasis on the fans doing their bit as well on the day.
I've been told that every game in the cup run, someone different took the final speech.
Yeah.
This one was yours.
Yeah.
Can you just give us an insight of what was said?
I don't know. I don't know if I can remember properly what was said, but I know I said along the lines of, you know, you're coming up against a team who are 3 leagues above you. You know, you still deserve to be on that pitch. It's not a case of, you know, you don't deserve to be it. They've won the games enough for them to be there on that pitch, and they've earned the right to be on that pitch and play with them players that play in the conference week in, week out. You know, on that basis, they need to do what they've always done, play with no fear, take opportunities when they can. But most importantly, as always, that we always said, you know, try and stay in the game as long as you can, and things will start to sort of open up for you. It was just unfortunate on the day. I mean, we had a good start to the game, and, you know, if we could have held it out a little bit longer till maybe half time, it maybe would have been a slightly different result. But yeah, in terms of what I said to him, I mean, there was a lot of adrenaline pumping at that time, so it was probably a lot of waffle.
Yeah.
But it did go down the lines of, you know, as much as they've won their games to be there, you know, we won ours, and we deserve to be on that pitch in front of 5,000 fans as much as they do at that time.
Yeah.
And that was it, you know, and they did. The boys were fantastic last year, and they did deserve to be on that pitch, and they deserved that cup run last year, and they deserved the joys that went with it and the memories.
Definitely. You've shook hands with everyone and then gone over to show the appreciation to the Aveley fans, but then as you've walked off, the Notts fans have stayed and clapped you off. How did that feel?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing. I mean, I was so tired after the game. I remember at half time, me and Goody looking at each other, saying, I've never been this tired after 45 minutes of football. Like, obviously, they're such better players, and you think, yes, I've got him here, I'm going to win it. All of a sudden, pop, they're out, sort of thing. So by the time the end of the game come, I was hobbling off. I was trying to lift my arm to applaud them. But yeah, it was an amazing feeling. Obviously, sort of, they appreciated we put everything into it to try and get something out of it. Yeah, our fans were excellent. Their fans were brilliant, clapping us off. And then even after the game, we sort of popped to the pub, like my old man and a few people that come and watch. We were in a pub down the road, and we walked in there, all Notts fans in there. And I think it was me, Gibbo, and maybe one other. I can't remember who it was, but they were sort of clapping us even when we walked into the pub, saying like, "Great effort, boys! Like, congratulations for getting this far," sort of thing. Gave us a good game. So their fans were top draw all the way through.
It's strange because Graham and myself were obviously in the directors' room pre-match, but we'd indicated our preference to be with the supporters during the match, and they said that was going to prove difficult. But in the end, they escorted us round to stand or sit with the Aveley supporters. So that was great being in with that lot. I think there was over 500. I think we took in the end.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit home probably until a couple of days after, when Steve Botham put his recording up of the game and the after-match celebration, so to speak. And whilst you get drawn into the emotion of the players coming over and applauding them, etc., And I do remember looking up and looking at the fans behind the goal in the Notts County end and saying to Graham, wow, look at that. How fantastic. Like they've stayed behind and clapped our lads off the pitch. And that was my thought then. I didn't realise of what had happened over the far side of the ground, where when Steve put his video up, it was practically the whole stand on that side that stayed. And that to this day just brings Stan's hairs up on the back of my neck watching that.
Yeah.
To the tune of David Hughes being the last player walking off that pitch, and not one person had moved from that stand.
Yeah.
Was and some people can say, yeah, that's okay because, like, you know, Notts County won and all that sort of stuff. But it just, to me, they didn't need to do that whatsoever. You know, and fair play to the Notts County fans for doing so. And I'd like to think that, you know, there's been a lot of social media talk between the two clubs since that day, and there's a relationship between the fans which is quite healthy, I believe.